Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Inglês no Rádio. My name is Foster. I am here with.
Alexia, hello everyone. Hello Foster. How are you today?
I am doing just fine. How are you?
I'm fine.
Awesome. So this week on the show, we have been talking about future boards, about thinkers and dreamers. So this idea comes from the idea of vision boards and planning for your future from a book that I did not read completely by a lady named Sarah Centrella. And in the last two episodes, Alexia and I just asked some simple questions to identify if we are more thinkers or more dreamers. And so far, it seems like the consensus is that you, Alexia, are more of a thinker and that I am probably more of a dreamer. But today we are going to really find out the answer.
Yeah, let's do it. So, do you want to start asking me questions?
Sure. So today we're asking questions about dreamers, and these questions will help clarify if Alexia is a dreamer or not, and same thing for me. So I'll ask a question, then you ask a question, and assim vai. Tá bom?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So Alexia, a question that I always love asking people, and especially asking you, and especially right now because I've been thinking about it a lot. Do you consider yourself to be creative? Are you a creative person?
Not as much as I would like to be. I think I'm not that much. I think I'm better with, how do you say it? Not creative work?
What would be an example of creative work and something not creative?
Give me information and I'll create you a spreadsheet. I love doing that.
Okay, so you're better with more task-oriented things.
Yeah, I think so. For example, we have our other podcast, Carioca Connection, and you always ask me like, what would you like to talk today on the podcast?
What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, talk about today on the podcast and what are you thinking about? And I know that I can be creative, but I don't think that my ideas are good enough. I think you are better at this than I am.
So you think that you might be a creative person, but perhaps you have some preoccupations or issues with validation or feeling like you're good enough?
Yes. So
Interesting.
I had to talk about it with my therapist. I just realized that.
Maybe.
I'm making lists about it. That's for sure.
Yes, you are a thinker. You love your list. Yes, so I've been reading a book recently, and I'm trying to convince Alexia to read this book as well. It is called Creative Calling by Chase Jarvis. And the main idea of the book is that creativity is not a skill. It is not something that some people have and some people don't, but creativity is a habit. So it's a muscle that you have to grow. And I see a lot of comparisons that you can make with language learning because people always say that to me, like, oh, you're just good with languages. And the truth is, no, I'm not. I just practice a lot.
Yeah.
So I think you are a very creative person. You are a creative soul. You write. You have beautiful handwriting. You used to write poems. You make plants.
I make plants.
You have a lot of opportunities for creative outlets, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. One thing that I really like to do and I love being creative with is with decorations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
decorating, interior design.
I love that.
Yeah. I think it's something that you should practice more and really cultivate this creative habit. Because according to this book, and which I'm really starting to agree with, creativity is not a luxury. It is essential. It is just as important as physical health. Creativity is really fundamental.
Okay.
Anyway, do you want to ask me a question?
Yes. Let's see. Have you had a difficult time finding the right career path or your passion because so many things interest you at first glance? This is the right question for you.
Okay, so have I had a difficult time finding the quote unquote right career path or passion because so many things interest me at first glance? So, first of all, at first glance,
A primeira vista.
yeah, that's a good phrase. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, we both recently turned 30 years old. And to be honest, I'm still figuring out the right career path. So, in my short decade as a 20 something, I was a teacher in a bilingual elementary school in Spain. I worked for a nonprofit organization filling out spreadsheets in New York. Then I worked for the same organization in Guatemala taking pictures of kids and construction projects. And then I decided to get an international MBA. Then I moved to Brazil teaching English privately. And then I started a podcast that did not go that well. Then I started another podcast that went much better. So, yeah, I have some trouble staying focused because I'm interested in a lot of things.
But I mean, I think that everything that you just said, it was your natural path. And almost everything else that you are interested in,
hmm
those are things that you could do as a hobby. And your work doesn't get in front of these hobbies, like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, something that I think is important is when you think about career paths and just your life trajectory, these things can make sense without being linear.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not view a career path or just a life path in general as something where you have to go step by step. So when you turn 30, that's when you get a house and babies and pets and all of these traditional things and a 401k and Social Security. If you look at my story in my life,
Wait, for what?
401k is a retirement savings account here in the
Okay.
United States. So when you look at my life, it seems like it doesn't make sense. Like it's not the natural transition to the next thing. But to me, it makes sense. To me, I'm following a path. So yeah, I have difficulty staying focused on one thing, but I don't necessarily think that means that I'm like totally lost, if that makes sense.
No, I think it's natural. I think I'm like that as well. I mean, I went to business school and then I changed my business school to a more marketing related business school. And I started working as intern fashion film place.
Mm-hmm.
And then, no, first of all, I went to British Council and then this fashion film place and then Porta dos Fundos, and then I'm here. I've never, ever worked directly to what I graduated with,
Yeah, me either.
So, and I think it's fine because it's okay.
Yeah.
You're finding yourself, and we did find ourselves here on our podcast and our business. And
Still in the process.
no, amor, I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We are always in the process and upgrading our lives, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you a risk taker? Do you consider yourself a person that takes risk?
Yes.
Okay, please explain.
I just took a risk going to Portugal, for example, and starting a new life there for now. And I just took a risk when we started to do our business together and putting at
Yeah, that was a big risk.
putting at risk our relationship and our lives as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we are on the same page with this one. That personally, I do not consider us risk takers in the traditional sense. Like I don't do risky things or engage in risky behavior. Like I'm not going to casinos and buying lottery
No.
tickets and I don't know, surfing huge waves. But we do a lot of things that I think most people would consider extremely risky, like moving away from the countries where we were born, speaking different languages that are not our maternal languages most of the time.
Starting a long distance relationship
Yeah,
and working with this person as well.
working with our significant other, starting two businesses. Those are things that most people in society would consider super, super risky.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't consider us as risk takers. I just think that most people have not a misguided, but perhaps a somewhat distorted view of what things in life are actually risky and what things are actually a relatively safe bet.
So if I could describe this better, it's a phrase that my best friend, she always tells me, and she always like, Alexia, eu me inspiro muito em você. How do I say that? How is it?
I'm inspired by you.
No,
I see myself in you.
maybe. I don't know.
Which friend?
Marina. Hey, Marina.
She's inspired by you, I think.
That I fight for what I believe, you know? I wanted to move to Portugal and I fought for it. We fought for it and we did it, you know?
Yeah, not a physical fight, but a metaphorical.
I made it happen.
Yeah, you're willing something into existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
You're a creator.
Oh.
And you just said you're not creative. So that's something to think about with your therapist.
Yes.
Okay, so we will be back in your earphones tomorrow talking more about dreams, dreamers, this kind of thing. So until then, keep dreaming, sleep sweetly, my friends, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.